Welcome to another edition of Voice of the Diaspora. Alcoholism and Leadership, the future of the PNCR. What must be done to return that historical political bastion to its foundations of credibility, trust, and viability? Will the PNCR risk it all? Its democratic principles, credibility, by not holding Congress in December? Political activists YOSHEV, ELAZAR, MIKAEL, and J.R. CRAWFORD join me now. J.R. CRAWFORD and YOSHEV, welcome to Voice of the Diaspora. Of course, we are live. People are tuning in already. So many people are tuning in. I want to welcome you to the program and to give you a brief opportunity to introduce yourselves. We will begin with YOSHEV and then a brief introduction and then JR, and then we'll go straight into the program.
Okay, good afternoon, wonderful people, good afternoon. My name is YOSHEV, MIKAEL, ELAZAR for the middle name. My general concern is for the people of Guyana. The 50% of people that is living on less than $1,000 a day, and the 26% who's living in extreme poverty. That is my concern. And from there, you will know that you have to address leadership. You have to address leadership. And also my additional concern is what the opposition leader is doing. How is he presenting himself?
And we will get to that.
What is he doing?
Thank you. We'll get to that. Let's go to JR for a brief introduction.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Norman, I think most of the folks, if not all, have been following me for the last 4 years on other platforms or the other platform. So, you know.
Well, you were on Ben Shop. You were on Ben Shop Radio. You were a co-host on Ben Shop Radio for a while.
I used to be there.
So you're no stranger. You're no stranger to many of our viewers because we share a lot of the same viewers. But you were no stranger. Go ahead.
My concern is about the conditions our Guyanese folks, be it PNC supporter or PPP or any other party supporters, what we are facing here and the oppression and the blatant discrimination. That is my fight. It's nothing else more than wanting to see our Guyanese people benefit from whatever we are having as resources from this country. And we must have a government that concerns about all citizens, not just some.
Thank you very much. For the viewers, once again, we were talking about the People's National Congress and the crisis that it is facing at the moment. We will be talking a bit about alcoholism and leaders and how it affects not only leaders, but how it affects people in general, families, husbands, wives, and why it is important for us to scrutinize our leaders who would have habits that are not, right in relation to what they are supposed to be doing, their responsibility, and so on. And we will talk extensively about whether they should have a PNCR biennial Congress in December. And so basically that's the topic. Of course, you are aware, the viewers are aware of what is happening today. Many have reported to this program and to myself as an activist that the leader of the opposition is drinking uncontrollably, and that it has become a problem for the party. And while I believe that that people have a right to do what they wish to do in their own private time, once those matters come to us, we have to look into them. Many people are arguing that we shouldn't wash our dirty linen, but no matter how much we try to deal in-house with some leaders, with some politicians, you get nowhere unless the people of the country and the constituencies decide, when they become aware and they decide this must stop. That is when you get somewhere. And so basically we will be having a nice conversation, but a serious conversation about what is happening with the leadership of the PNCR and how can we ensure that we strengthen the PNCR to face the monster, the People's Progressive Party, and to remove them from office. I want to begin once again with YOSHEV. YOSHEV, the news has been out there about the leader of the PNCR. What are your thoughts?
Well, thanks for the question. My thoughts are the same as what I've been saying all the time. Whenever you present yourself as a leader, you're representing the people behind you. If you present yourself as somebody that is lacking integrity, you're disgracing the people behind you. Now, if you want to use a little bit of alcohol, go ahead and use the alcohol, no doubt in that. But if it becomes a chronic problem, you have to deal with it. Because in a home, you find that there are drunkards who would abuse the people or the family. Now, that happened in a home, or that will happen in a home. Now, if that happens in a home, what do you expect the leader to do if he is operating as a drunkard? It would be the same thing. Look, for instance, and give a typical example. The biennial that is scheduled to be held in December. He made a unilateral decision to postpone that to next year. That is a form of abuse. Now, one would ask the question behind that. If you're doing this thing inside your party, what will you do if you turn president? What will you do if you turn the president? Okay, so we have the meeting that he made a unilateral decision to postpone until next year, until he decides whenever next year, because he didn't even give a date. 1, 2, we have a crisis in the country. The crisis is that 50% of the people are living in less than $1,000 a day. 26% of the people are living in extreme poverty. This is what is happening. Now, permit me, sir, Mr. Brown, if you go home in your house and you see your children are looking at you and they're hungry, will you sit back and shut your mouth and just relax?
Can't.
Or will you go there and get it? Exactly. No. We will become a laughing stock because this guy holds the position of the opposition. And he's not going out there to represent us. He's not amassing the people to go there and represent us. Nonsense. Now, when you address these things, people might say, oh, you're Haiti, and why you gotta fight down your mighty black leader? You ain't seen what the angel them doing, regardless of what they do with the whole lamp on them and they covering them up. We don't want to move like that. We want effective leadership. You have to be right standing. Stand up and do exactly what you ought to do. Don't go away in a corner and sucking up to the white man because the white man oppressing the people in Guyana. You running behind the white man for have arrangements and meeting and all these things. The same white people them that oppressing the people in Guyana, you feel Sarah Lynch, you know that ExxonMobil digging out to you all inside the Guyana here. That's what they're doing, sharpening us with our clothes on. No, some might say, all right, good. Raphael Tratman sign away 2, no ring fencing. Jack Yogan being sign 3, no ring fencing. And I've been just sit down right there. Come on, man. This is how you're supposed to operate. As a leader, you lead from in front. I heard that he said he does not believe in protest this one time. And then I heard that he said, and this is what I heard from his own mouth, that if the people go out there, he's going to rally behind them. Come on. Which leader you know? Which leader you ever know lead from behind? In a situation of a classroom, the teacher can't go to the back of the class and say, well, no, you're alone again up at the blackboard. The teacher got to go to the front. And the teacher has to demonstrate from what they know and how they operate. That is how you have to conduct yourself from in front. And you're going to say, oh, when the people go, then you're going to go. Nonsense. We are struggling. We are struggling. You got to get up and get out there. Demand what is rightfully ours, because it is ours. Now, I want to address some people. Now, Norman, Mr. Brown, I commend you for what you did, because it spoke to integrity. It spoke to a principle that is long forgotten. Pull out the speck out your own eye first before you can pull out the speck out to your whoever else eye. Pull out the plank, not the speck, the plank out your own eye first before you can pull out a speck out to somebody else's eye. That is a principle. You can have in your own yard a mischievous child, but you want to point out to the neighbor's yard about their mischievous child. Nonsense. You got to deal with what going on inside there first. No, I heard also that within the party, there are a bunch of snakes. Now, listen, if I am the head of my home and anybody around me misbehaving and doing what they feel like doing, I have all right to discipline them. And I don't care who vexed or not, because at the end of the day, it is not something that is personal. It is a professional stance you made. You're getting paid to do something. Do it with integrity. Do it because at the end of the day, you're affecting thousands, hundreds of thousands of people.
And you're absolutely correct there, YOSHEV. You're absolutely correct there, because we have to lead by example, and we have to hold our leaders accountable, either publicly or otherwise. We have to hold them accountable. Let us go to J.R. Crawford, no stranger to controversy, no stranger to calling a spade a spade. JR is fearless, like yourself, YOSHEV. JR, you have listened to YOSHEV there. You understand what the issue is. The leader, Aubrey Norton, so many accusations are being leveled against him that indicate that maybe he's not up to the task. You heard YOSHEV saying there that since, he was engaging, quote unquote, the white people, he has been quiet, he's been silent. You heard that he's not interested in protest actions, while so many people, or he's not interested in leading from the front. And of course, we will also discuss what, he is saying about the biennial Congress not being held in December, a unilateral decision, as YOSHEV has said. JR, the floor is yours. Talk to us.
Norman, first off, to those who want to chastise paid members of the PNC party for speaking out on the lackluster leadership, the unwillingness to listen to the members of the party. First, the PPP is not a party like the PNC. The PNC is a constitutionalized party where it's governed by a set of rules, and there are certain lanes that you must walk between. The behavior of the current leader of the PNC is unacceptable. And I must say, and this is about you too, Norman, I was the villain back in early 2021 when I said publicly before the Congress Norton was not the leadership material that was supposed to be
You
there.
did. You did.
I I remember the whole Norton camp from North America to South America was on my case. I stood my ground, and the reason for me saying what I said then was because I investigated Norton's behavior from way back when, and there was a common denominator. He had a problem with every single leader of the party before him. He came back through Harmon, and he cut Harmon's throat. The guy is not leadership material. Now, I don't care what some of the supporters of Norton is going to say about me privately or publicly. Norton is not of leadership material. He should be replaced. And by unilaterally saying that the biennial Congress will not be held in December, these are grounds for the CEC to remove him as leader. He has shown absolutely no interest in growing the party, in bringing back the disenfranchised and upset members. He has not shown that a leader is to bring people together and produce other leaders from among. He has blatantly tubbed his nose at the cries of the people who support the party. He cannot show under his leadership the membership growth of the PNC. It's a dangerous thing when we have a political party who is losing members instead of gaining members. We as a party need to attract other ethnicity. We cannot be a black-faced party. We cannot win an election. We cannot have substance like that. To support the party's financial standing, we need other folks. We are not seeing an engagement. He boasted about it 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, that he has a lot of Indian business friends. I want to know where they are, if they are gone out on holidays. This guy has proven that he doesn't want to discuss and listen to other members, not even position members, but people. Once you're a paid member, listen to the people. They may look raggedy, but they will have something that you are missing. Get to the people on the ground. Go out there. Not every time it must be a sip and lime to meet the people. Go out there, hear the cries of the people, look at the conditions that the people are dealing with, look at the blatant oppressive behavior that they have to withstand, and that is what a leader is supposed to be. But he has shown that he doesn't have that soft spot for people that are suffering. Norton is also afraid to go into the PPP stronghold to garner support. If you don't make an attempt, how are you going to build the base of the PNC? How are you going to remove the PPP? Jagdeo would love for Norton to be the leader of the PNC for the rest of his life because it means that the PNC will never return to office. The guy doesn't want to listen, and he has an attitude problem to anybody who stands up to him. Any paid member of the PNC party must, should, and will speak if they have good intentions for the party. Like myself, I will say whatever I want. No PNC person could stop me from talking about the PNC because I am part of it. And the party is bigger than all of us. If we can have a positive impact, step aside and let somebody else take the reins. Hence my support for Simona Brooms to emerge as the new leader, because the current leadership and all the other immediate nucleus people, they are not ready to go there, with the exception of a few MPs who are doing the grind on a weekly basis. We cannot have part-time, sometime, or maybe time people to go out there and represent the people. They need to represent the people on a daily basis. And they must remember, not only are the PNC supporters are being represented, but all of Guyanese voices are being represented by an opposition. When you cry for help and for fairness across the board, it is for every single Guyanese, regardless of race, religion, or creed.
Regardless of race, religion, or creed. J.R. Crawford, you're speaking his mind. It's very important, that point you made. Because many people seem to think that the party is against Norton. Many people believe in their heart of hearts that the party is against Norton. Internally, many MPs, many executive members and members in the party believe that Norton is against them. They speak
Yeah.
of his arrogance, they
Yes.
speak of his dismissiveness, they
Yes.
speak of his inability to be inclusive.
He's not an
And
inclusive leader.
and I want to say this. When, as many people know, I am the person, the activist that initiated Norton's leadership bid. Norton was, and I want people to hear me today because we're going to have a long conversation and you guys will have time to talk for as long as you like. Norton was nowhere when it came to being a leader in the party. In fact, when I made that call for Norton to run for the leadership, Norton was so sidelined that the leader of the opposition, Joseph Harmon, had to give him a job as his advisor in a back room in his office. I want the viewers to hear us tonight because I want to clear my name. There was a problem we were encountering after we were removed from government. I didn't say we lost the elections. I said we were removed from government. Watch my words. And very quickly, the PPP started to do vicious and wicked and evil things against African Guyanese, Indo-Guyanese who supported the PNC, and Guyanese in general who stood up to them.
Yep.
I saw, like many of us, that Joseph Harmon, as the leader of the opposition, was only writing letters. He was not confronting the People's Progressive Party. He had a great relationship with the executive members of the party. He had the wherewithal in terms of finances to pull off an elections. But people were dying. People were being seriously oppressed. The first few months when the PPP got into power, and Mr. Harmon did not believe in protesting just like what Mr. Norton did. What I did was to say that if we are to confront and remove the PPP, we have to find a leader in the party that would have had a history under Burnham of being a passionate leader, one who would do things differently to what the executives were doing in the PNC under Joseph Harmon. And so I came out of left field and I said, Norton, who has been rejected and sidelined, is the man for the job. I reposed confidence in him. I rooted Joe Harmon with the help of our members out of the opposition and took Aubrey Norton from an office as an advisor to Joseph Harmon and Aubrey Norton with our campaigning, with our narrative. I wrote to the newspapers. I referred to him in every way as a great leader, the phoenix rising from the ashes. I did everything. The first program that introduced his leadership bid that he went on is on this program. This is the program that introduced him to the Guyanese world, saying, I want to go for leader. And he made a promise that he will confront the PPP. He made a promise that he would do things differently to Joseph Harmon. He won by a landslide, YOSHEV and JR. Just imagine, by that time,
Wow.
when I was fighting Mr. Harmon, whom I've never spoken to, whom I've never met, I could not have anything against Mr. Harmon if I never spoke to him or I've never met him. I had to have something against the leader of the opposition who is there to represent the constituencies.
Exactly.
So my action to foster the removal of that executive in the PNC under the leadership of Joseph Harmon himself was based on a principle. It was not based on anything personally. When that struggle started, our supporters turned on me. They were worse than they're turning on me now with Norton when I bailed the cat. Hear me out, because we having this conversation.
Yes.
When Norton won the leadership of the party, many were angry with me in the People's National Congress. I said, this man must be given a chance. But as time progresses, I was evaluating him. And we found him once. I don't want to use the independent pronoun I all the time. I'm just trying to highlight something about my contribution, because I want our members and supporters and my viewers to understand, who are cussing me out, to understand what transpired. I worked for him to get there, but it doesn't mean I have to bow to him. You are there because you said you are going to deliver. You are going to do it this way. If you don't do it this way, then I have to confront you. And therefore, I began the process. But then I said to myself, let us give him an opportunity to finish the 2 years and go to the elections of the biennial Congress. And if he wins, then he's the one that has to go and lead the party again. If he loses, then we know what is happening. And so I waited. But by then, recently, I was getting complaints. Many people believe, I just want one more minute and then you guys will come in. Many people believed that I posted a video of Norton socializing with a drink in his hand. If I show you the reports coming from in the party about how many times Mr. Norton has turned up drunk to functions. Look, I am not making this up. I am convinced that he's an incessant drinker. Wow. You understand? And when I wrote that thing and posted that video, I said to Mr. Norton, you need to put your act together. You need, based on the party image, on the party's image, you need to put your act together. If you have to seek help, you need to seek help. Because I am convinced, not what he's showing, or our members and supporters say, it's just a social and Barrett and everybody doing this and that. If he goes for a lie detector test and he passes it to say he's not an incessant drinker, that is drunk every day, I will leave political activism, close this show down, and done with politics. You understand what I'm saying to you? So my work is to say, look, when he realized what was happening, he panicked because he knew my integrity. And we said December will be the Congress, so we'll decide what will happen. Let the voters and so on decide what will happen. He, without consulting anyone from America, he sits down on his own and releases a statement to Gordon Mosley, tells Gordon Mosley that there will be no biennial Congress in December. You talking about a party that works on democratic principles. You talking a party that is governed by rules. You talking about a party that got central executive members. It is a proper party. Anything you say about the PNC, you cannot say that the PNC is not disciplined. It's not democratic. The Congress proves Harmon did not hold on to the power and said, wherever Harmon gave in and said, yeah, they will be that. They try a thing, but he said, yes, let democracy take its place. Whoever wins, wins. Right? Now, Norton, without consulting anyone, this is an indication of his autocratic behavior.
Wow.
Because you haven't even thought of having a meeting, because you know why? He leads the party on its own. He is running the party on his own. He has 2, 3, 4, 5 people backing him that he makes promises, and he has alienated the entire party. I am sorry, we will continue this conversation. And therefore, this is where we are at. Mr. Norton insults the party by making a unilateral decision, as you say, YOSHEV. That is unacceptable. Now, when you say to me, who worked my ass off, pardon my expression, to put him there, the amount of blows I got is not the blows I'm getting from our brothers and sisters now. You know that, JR. You put lashes on me, JR. Now,
And Eglon,
now what I'm saying here is this. Mr. Norton must be allowed to lead until December's biennial Congress. And Mr. Norton must ensure, along with the party, that there is a biennial Congress. And if Mr. Norton wins that biennial Congress, he's afraid. You know why he's afraid to hold it? Because he knows his leadership is weighed in the balance, and he's already been found wanting. If he had the support of everyone and the members, he said, let's do it in November, because he's confident he will win that biennial Congress. But he wants to extend it 8 months, and that is unacceptable. It is unacceptable, and we will never allow that to happen. You understand? Mr. Norton must go to those elections in a democratic way, and he must ensure that democracy prevails. Whoever wins those elections, whoever wins the leadership, will have my support, with the exception of Mr. Norton. If Mr. Norton wins that Congress, I will walk away from party politics. I will stay in my activism. Sorry, guys. I wanted to make this point for the sake of our viewers. You have the floor, and you can talk as long as you want, but I really want this to be a conversation where people can hear my side too. JR, and then, JR, you have to be brief, because
MIKAEL, can you give me a quick minute, please?
It's YOSHEV time, but if you want a quick minute, go ahead. And then
No, I
we'll
was asking to give me a quick minute. Norman, I'm going to say this. You are now walking in the same shoes that I was walking 2 years ago. And the sorry thing that you're seeing is the young black party members, or some not even a party member, they will not understand the necessity of an effective leadership against the PPP. They're not fighting the grind on the daily oppressive behavior that is happening in this country. And you'll see all sorts of stupid comments. Some people we know, some people we used to know. If I am telling you from senior members that I spoke to, if Norton does not set a date by end of October, he will be removed by a no confidence vote, this time for sure. You cannot, and MIKAEL said the same thing earlier on his live. If Norton is behaving this way without power, what happens if he gets a presidential power? You can't talk to him. That is not how the PNC is structured. The PNC works with rules, just like the country's constitution is something similar. Unlike the PPP that has a one-man show or anybody else. And people don't understand the process. When you're in there, you're there for the people of Guyana, not for yourself, not to have an attitude. And one of the weaknesses of many colored leaders is forgetting the people who helped them to climb the ladder. And it is a saying that's been said for many years. Colored people sometimes show very, very ungrateful tendencies for the people who helped them in life. I don't care what the people say before he became the leader, that he was not the right person. Yes, Harmon was a letter writer, but at least we had a little bit more, that we were having a little bit of voices. Norton needs to come out, give the power to the other younger people in the party, let them go. Don't muzzle people who wants to go out and reach out to other people via social media. You can't stifle somebody's growth. They have a few MPs who are working their ass off and they don't have the support of the leadership on Congress Place. That is not what it's supposed to be. And we are not having growth in the party. We don't have influx of finances because we have shown to be in this narrow-minded narrative, and that is why we are suffering as a unit. Nobody could tell me that they are powerful. The party is much more powerful than its members, and we have to respect that. And we are not even living up to LFS legacy, his mantra, what we should strive for as a people. We have let him down so many times. Is unbelievable. MIKAEL?
Go ahead, Mikael. You
Right.
have your time on the floor. You can deliberate
Well,
here.
adding to this discussion, when new AFC had just come into the picture as a cohesive whole, it attracted a multiplicity of races to the party. And I worked myself off as a social media personality, sharing information about the party, sharing information about the party. And I saw the results. It was wonderful because they had every walk of life in the party. Now, Guyana is a multicultural nation. We have 7 races. We would say 6 is not 6, it's 7 because the mixed race got to come too.
Yes.
And all of those races were in the party, campaigning for the party, pushing for the party. The theoretical principle of the party is powerful, where you represent all Guyanese, not some Guyanese, all Guyanese. However,
Pardon.
when GR was talking just now, I kind of smiled because I remember what happened as soon as new AFC won the election. The very people that I was in contact with throughout the campaigning process disappeared. And I could remember I found myself in a little jam. And this little jam that I found myself in is that I didn't have a job. And I wanted to go to school and study. So I tried reaching out, and to no avail. I can't reach nobody. Just to get a quiet, humble job in some corner where I could go to school and elevate myself. Because that was the dream, is that you're for the young people. And if you're for the young people, therefore, those are the programs you have to have in place where you give them jobs that they can work and study. This guy here, I gotta give him, his ounce. James Bond. Although he's doing all this nonsense that he's doing right now that is so repulsive, he was the only person made an attempt to give me a linkage to find a job. But it didn't work out because the people who he sent me to, they played the game as though they did not regard me in any way. Anyway, moving forward, mind you me, this whole conversation is start with the principle of new AFC, the principle that is behind this collation. No one could get on to the executive members of the party anymore. You can't. Sharon Das doing his stuff. Granger was warned about Sharon Das. Watch this by. He left it alone. Charandas go and cut his throat. Then I saw members run to the public to shake hands like full hypocrites. We don't want the nonsense. We the youths are saying no to that foolishness. We are saying we want responsible leaders. People who understand the struggle. Not people who think they understand the struggle. People who understand the struggle. So, if I am saying Norton is operating this way now, and then there are people who is supporting Norton and saying, Norton is the man for the job, Norton is the man for the job. You mean to tell me honestly, you're seeing that he made a unilateral decision by himself without the consultation of the CES or CSC, whichever I think is the executive body of the PNCR. He did not make no consultation with them. Dr. Gary Best written an article and published that and said it. No consultation he made. He just got made a unilateral decision and went on to do what he got to do. Now, if that is his conduct, what will he do? I'm saying it again. What will he do when he gets into presidency? Now, Apostle Nigel Eliakim, a lot of people know him as Nigel London. He would never join the party like that unless he's invited by somebody who's legitimate. And then, not only invited by somebody who's legitimate, is that he will, I guess this here, I'm not talking on behalf of him that he will say this to me. I'm thinking, based on his standard, that he will start off as a consultant just to see where you're going. And if you're heeding the principles and you're doing it, it's going to be more involved. That is a man with chutzpah, a man with guts that leads from in front, not from behind. From in front. When the nurses was locked out in at Linden Hospital, along with the patients, he stood there. When there was a blackout of the bridge because the people didn't get fed up, he was there, speaking to them. And I was there personally, and I heard some of the young men real angry, cussing going on. And the apostle stood right there and said, listen, we got to come to a point where we're going to have a resolution, and we don't want nobody here to get shot and killed. Because at the end of the day, life matters. And he's right there. The police them line up. Policemen came from Georgetown, lined up there. We heard in the wires that they were there to do one thing, shoot. So he was there, up close and personal with frustrated youth. All right. Mind you me, he's not paid as a political personality. No. Look at this. Simone Brooms. That woman, I worked at CRAWFORD when Simone Brooms was Minister of Labor. When that woman walked in the place, the treatment that we were getting at CRAWFORD changed immediately. I can attest to that. Nobody can come and tell me second hand this is second hand though. I don't know Simone's personal life, but I had an encounter with her professional life and her professional conduct in that capacity. She went up to Linden and spoke to the Chinese bauxite company that was grinding workers and not giving them what they deserve. She did that. You know what Granger did? But the basic Granger is not on the platform, Norton is. But I'm going to highlight to you what we do not need and what we need. Granger removed her from that position and put a wig back man. I can't remember his name because he back so weak that I don't want to remember people like the name. Where's the time to keep them name inside of your brains? You hear me? General Rahman. Not paid, but he speaks out. Kadaki every single morning speaks out. Dr. Hines when you catch a doctor in his program, it's long and lengthy, but trust me, when you finish there, you're well informed. I'm now seeing, talking about that, I'm now seeing Mr. Granger is bringing out some really information, pertinent information that is, trust me, is very informative. Like I say, I gotta give you your unks when you do your part. Well, if you're doing foolishness, I gotta address it as well. I can't hug you up and I see you going on the wrong road into destruction and call myself a caring person towards you. That would be hypocritical of me. And in that way, I would have to say something. Now, mind you me, I voted for New AFC, and before I voted for PNC, before the party came together and turned a coalition. You understand me? I know from back then to now where my allegiance, where it was. But 2020 election, I did not vote. Because after I had the encounter, I know to myself, no, this is not for me. Nobody ain't going to use me and kick me to the curb like this again. When in reality, I put so much into it. It didn't happen like that. So, we need leaders who are prepared to lead us into our future. We need leaders who are prepared to lead us into the future with courage. I would usually say this kind of thing on my life. I say, man, listen, do you really want to see the motive of the white man? Check to see what France is doing in Niger. Check to see what the US is doing and France is doing to Haiti. Those people right now sit on some natural gas and oil reserve. Some estimations say might be the largest in the world. And yet still they're struggling like that. Guyana is filled with so many natural resources. We get timber, bauxite, diamond, gold, and uranium. And including oil. But yet still, 50% of the people live in casa life. Yeah? Casa life. That makes sense? No, that don't make no sense, man. We got to come to a place where now we got to say, no, this thing got to done. Guyanese must inherit what we have. Not no foreigner. Because when the foreigner come, they take out all and they go on their way and big enough where they live. And we here left in the struggle. Guyanese got to inherit it. No. And next thing, if you check on Mark Benchcab show, if you check on Kadaki show, people are asking, where are the opposition leaders? What are they doing? Now, if you are a father for your home, I'm talking about a father, not a male. If you are a father for your home, your children will never have to ask where you are. They know where you are. Because your interest is in them. When you take up the position of a leader, you take up this is a similar position as a father or as a mother, if you're female or male, whichever one. You have to make yourself available, listen to the people, get out there and demand what is the right of the people. We don't have to ask where you are. And we want to know where you are. We're not seeing you. Go another day to that. We the youths are saying no to that. We want something better. We want something that will benefit us and our grandkids. We don't want our grandchildren to pay off unnecessary debts. And if you think it's unnecessary, then listen. About this unnecessary debt thing. Because we have a higher GDP and the PPP is borrowing money, we have to pay back a higher interest rate. Now, I'm not talking off of my own here, no. I'm talking about the doctor said they say. We have to pay back a higher interest rate. Now, if we have to pay back a higher interest rate, Who is going to pay it off when we close our eyes? It's our kids and our grandkids. That shouldn't be. And if we fail them, they have a right to look us in the eye and say, hey, you guys failed us. And disrespect us because you know why? We failed them indeed. That shouldn't be. We have the opportunity now to stand up. Stand up! And I would usually ask this question, if our foreparents didn't stand up, where would we have been? We would be enslaved. And I would still ask the question, look at them more martyrs. I feel again more martyrs because they had to get revolution against the white man. He used to be the indentured servants too and pack salt in the womb. Don't forget who's the enemy here. It is not Guyanese are the enemies to one another. It's them same white man who coming in a corrupt us. Not Guyanese. Over to you, brother.
JR?
Norman, you know, as the brother was explaining certain things here, and you look at the comments of some of your haters, you get to understand the reason why slavery lasted that long and the ignorance of many given the opportunity of a keyboard in their hands. You know, the PPP supporters are enjoying the wealth and the sweat and the tears and the blood of our foreparents for 400 years. And you see some fools on this platform talking garbage because you must not, as a paid member of the PNC party, speak out of the lackluster and the non-existent leadership. But you must sit down and say, but PPP don't hear their large. PPP is not a constitutional political party. It's a cult.
It's a dictatorship.
These people are always comparing apples and oranges and don't understand. At the end of the day, regardless if the money is dirty or not, the PPP get money to go in the market. What does a black man get? A fool's promise and an arrogant behavior. You give them a primo and a couple dollars in the pocket and they become bad man. That is a stupid mentality that you're seeing. And I could quote my brother saying, yo, man, why don't you just leave these fools alone and live your life? I don't have a reason to worry of what happens in Guyana. I am doing this because I don't like to see wrongdoings. And there are many of us who are honest but are not given a proper opportunity or no representation. You have many folks who are living abroad. And it seems like when they when they get into the airplane, they lose their sense of responsibility and morals and etiquette. They behave like lunatics, just like a Victor Singh on the PPP keyboard. We are having so many of them in this country, on this party the same way. So that is where our problem lies in. You must be a tribal member where you cannot speak. Massa was the only thing. And that is what I said many years ago. PNC is run by a tribal politician, a political system, and the PPP is run by a caste system. The supporters are dumb, mute. So they go and they just put an X and that's it. They don't have a voice in how things are done. They can't complain about the negative effect that they are facing and all these things. But you must sit down. I am not a slave. I was never born a slave. I was born a rebellious child because I'm a mixed person. My mother rebelled. My father rebelled. And damned if anybody on this platform or anywhere on the public road or in America or anywhere could come to me and tell me foolishness. As long as I am a member of the PNC, I will say whatever I want to say. I am not afraid. I face the fire every single day here. I have challenged you and Eglan and many others. And I've proven myself that Norton was not the leader. Look at what the PNC has become. A laughing stock. Jack Doe is telling his people them he's happy with Norton, the leadership, because they got no resistance.
That is actually what they're saying. That is actually what they're saying in the PPP right now. Yeah, yeah.
We have an economic imperialism drive that is going against the black folks. Black people do not garner respect around the world. Look at what happened in Africa with these three countries. They pushed out the imperialists, and guess what? Everybody is against them. People don't understand. I've said war brings peace, and democracy does not come cheap. At the end of the day, a black man would be satisfied with $100,000 for the month, an Indian man will say, "No, I want $1 million." These fools here don't understand that the economic imbalance is not going to be something easily overcome. Where are the opportunities? Look at the multilateral schools that Burnham put there across the region for all of us to have the same education as Queen's College. It neglected purposely. Nobody is fighting for it. Look at the crimes. Look at the medical system. Look at the blatant disrespect contracts. People who don't know the read and write become instant millionaires. Nobody's speaking out about it. Look at the work that the contractors are doing. Is that what we are supposed to do? Take these shabby dealings and accept it? And you know what strikes me? Some of these people that are making these stupid comments are people who reach out to me, "Oh, brother, oh, we can't take this." And they give me all these complaints. I am going to block every single one of these agents because I can't find myself giving you advice and you are coming on the platform instead of listening and trying to understand with an open mind. They are making stupid comments. Norton, if he goes out and do his social life here, you go to Plastic Cup and as a big opposition leader. I had members of the PNC party up here was hanging out with Norton, and they were struck that people were just walking past him as the guy that nobody wants to interact with. I don't care who it is. I, as a leader, I would try to build my party every day to bring a new member. I don't care if your hair is twist, straight, or hard.
You can't drunk and do that. But let me
Because
make this point.
that
Sorry to
is not a
cut
good
you.
thing that he's
Yeah,
doing.
let me make this point. I want to take a different position. Now, JR, I want to welcome you on this program to host it at some intervals. Yeah, I want you to come and host this program. You understand? You're given the latitude. If you have people to interview, if you have an issue to talk about, if you want 2 days a week to deal with what you want to deal with, this program is yours to deal with it. And YOSHEV, this is extended to you also.
Thanks for
Right?
the invitation.
Let me say this to you. Let me say, you know why I will take a different position? Because I understand what love is. And there are very few people who carry this struggle in an altruistic way. You understand? That share that same ideological conceptualization as I am. We talked about Apostle Nigel London. Someone jumped on the comment section and said he's an activist. You can't compare him. Apostle Nigel London has shown more courage and gumption, decency, and radicalism more than Aubrey Norton 20 times over.
Correct.
Simona
Correct.
Brooms, who has returned to the PNC as a member, those who are talking on the thread. I want us to talk tonight because I want to get the language right. Simona Brooms is the person that Aubrey Norton is so afraid of at a leadership
Wow.
contest, and that is why he doesn't want December to happen. Now let me, and someone said to JR, stay on the topic, but we have to sometimes give respect to the people who are making comments. And I want to make this point very clear. You see those people who are here and making those negative comments? You see those people who are cussing me and they're cussing us? They're here. And you know why they are here? It's because
interested.
they are interested. Let me make this point to you. There isn't a single person watching this program that is cussing me stinking that I would disrespect. Let me tell you something, brother. When they say, I want us to hear this, when they say the PPP is not doing what we are doing, they're right. Hold on a minute. They're right. You know why they're right? And why Norton and others are wrong? Because you see, when you win the souls of people, when you win the souls of people, they will go to the ends of the earth to defend you. And sometimes emotions cloud their judgment. And they will stand up blindly because they don't want to hear anything else. My work is to bring that truth to them. I brought that truth to them with Harmon, and Norton applauded me. Norton encouraged me to go out there and do what I am doing here now. To Harmon and to Basil Williams and them. I threw Basil under the bus for Norton. You understand what I'm saying to you? I apologize to Basil, but I thought that this is a leader that I could make a sacrifice and make a bad friend because we're looking at the greater good. That when this man gets there, we know it's not business as usual. He promised that. He lied on this program and other programs on his campaign to say that he would do whatever is necessary to confront Jaggi on the PPP.
Wow.
I swear on my life, and I want to talk because here this here now, JR and YOSHEV. When you look at the character of Apostle Nigel London and the character of Simona Bruns, when you look at the courage of those people, you understand that there is still hope. That there is still hope. Apostle Nigel London went to the front of several protests in this country and he told the commissioner of police while young men were being killed and all of that. He said, come for me, lock me up, kill me. I telling y'all today, y'all come. Y'all are fools. He called them fools. You are telling me here is an apostle who is not paid or elected that will put his life on the line without a penny to gain because he cares about his people. Norton walks into the white people meeting and came out back quiet. I know that for a fact. So I am watching you, Norton, because I, using the independent pronoun tonight, single-handedly pulled you from the political grave and resurrected you. And the first thing you said when you became leader is that I didn't have a party card. You know the kind of person that would do that to someone. Man, I have to talk because our viewers must hear today. That is why I got radical men on my program tonight. This is an unusual program. And they have the opportunity to talk. I want to talk. I love these people that are here with me and that are cussing me. But I want them to hear this because they will sleep on it. I'm not going to call them fools. I'm not going to cuss them back or anything. Here is the irony of this thing. The same way Norton got power by me pulling Joseph Armand down publicly, bringing the dirty linen of the PNC into the public so that the people can be empowered to call on the party to put it act back together. Norton was happy. He was talking to me then. He was texting me then. He was telling me about Basil Williams then. The same method that was used the first time, I think, ever in the PNC history, to bring the linen out to make sure the party put its act together because its foundation is proper. All the principles and everything are there, but people were abusing it. And nobody wanted it to buck the inside. Nobody wanted, people respect leadership, central executive, you know what I mean? So we felt that you had to come out and bring the power to the people. Let the people, the membership decide that the party is thinking inside. And let it go and empty the dirty pail from the party. And that was democracy. That saw Aubrey Norton become leader. And Joseph Harmon removed. David Granger removed. Hear this.
Norman.
Hold on, JR. Hear this. Norton's hypocrisy is glaring. I'll tell you why. Because if you use a system that was unorthodox to get power, you encourage the dirty linen to get power. You didn't have a problem with it. But now you're telling these young people that come in on this program in the comment section that the PPP don't do them things. You hate those people, Norton? To lie and to deceive them when that is how you got there. That when I did that for you, I uprooted Harmon. I connected the countless articles in the newspaper, countless interviews, countless live from your brother. You didn't one day said, Norman, don't do that. You said to the party that the party was not acting in a democratic way. And during COVID in 2021, you said, let me wait till next year. Let me go to the election in 2021. The conditions were worse. But you said democracy must prevail. And you and Valda and Carol Joseph and y'all walked the length of breadth of Guyana. And garner the support because we had already brought Harmon down publicly. We had already brought Basil down publicly. We had already brought David Granger down publicly. We had done that, and I led it. Let history show that I led it. And you were talking to me. You were happy. You understand? Now, you want me to worship you, and no matter what you do, I must not say anything. But it wasn't you I was concerned about in this struggle to bring Harmon down. It was the party and the people I was concerned about. You are replaceable. I said you are there to do the job and you didn't do it. You're drunk all the time. How are you going to do a job? You understand? And I'm saying it one more time to the people sitting here talking about washing dirty linen. Let Aubrey Norton come on any program and said that he didn't back me and encourage me to bring arm on them down publicly and wash the dirty linen in public. Let him come and say that that is not true. Let me take a lie detector test. If Norton takes a lie detector test and said that that didn't happen, and he passes it. If he takes a lie detector test and said he's not an alcoholic, and he passes it, let's go to the British embassy, let them do it. Let's go to the US embassy. Don't let me go to nobody in the political echelons or no ordinary local thing. Let me get people with integrity. And if you do it, and you pass it, I will go on my knees and apologize to you and walk away from politics. You, Norton, got into power on the horse of the dirty linen.
Norman.
JR, give me a second because you guys have an opportunity to talk. He got there on the back. JR was one of the people that cussed me stinking like these people cussing me now. Let us, YOSHEV, understand something. You know why I'm not angry with these brothers and sisters? Their intentions are honorable. Black people are not supposed to be in public fighting one another. But for 23 years, the party was rotten inside. And we were out of power. Hundreds of young black men died. Hundreds and thousands of women were abused. 23 years. You know why they stayed out of power 23 years? Because they were insulated in the party. And people didn't feel that we are the power behind the party. And if the party is rotten, we have to be, because it is we who are the party, not the executives. And that is why I did what I done. Because when they lost the elections, we were going with a Harmon that wasn't doing anything. Grange should have done step back, kept the list, and he did the right thing. Because all these people were angry with me because they knew this man, including JR. But when a man repose confidence in you, when a man take you from the grave, and what your wildest dreams that you've given up on materialize because he used every medium. Stabrook News never refused to carry my article. Glenlaw Kitron News never refused. You understand what I'm saying to you, Chef?
Yes.
And the connection was made. Why doesn't he come out and say to these people that cussing me now? Well, Norman did this for me, so if he's doing it to me now, it's a matter of principle. It's not nothing personal against me. Why don't you come out? Because you're weak. And on this program, I'm calling you punk tonight. JR, go ahead.
Norman, what we have to understand, and what a lot of these people on the program here are not, they're not seeking knowledge by investigating what is going on in the party. 2 years of Norton leadership. Norton was given certain documentation for the Congress to re-engage all the party groups and try to bring back the people who got tired and fed up of not being attended to. It was never done. All this group was not touched.
Years, Colin Barnwell, years. I just didn't know. Sorry, go ahead, JR. I was responding to Colin Barnwell.
The PNC offices in all the regions are not operating at proper level. If not, they're not operating at all. How are we going to keep our supporters engaged when a leader for 2 years cannot find the time and the motivation? Over 200,000 people support this party you're leading, and you can have an effective operation of the Congress offices in each region operating at a premium. You cannot re-energize the PNC groups of different NDCs across the country. You're only in selective areas, right around the home base. That shows you that you're not leadership material. And you see, a lot of people who are talking garbage don't understand. I had the pleasure of dealing with some of them, and you could tell them the same thing 1,000 days in a row, and they do not understand how it goes. Some live overseas. They live in a balloon. They don't know what is happening outside of reality. You have people who are, who are there, who are wanting to go out and spread their wings to bring in more people. We are not having that ability. A leader must be able to be approachable. If somebody in your leadership circle cannot rise up and take a job, then you're not doing your job. Never be afraid that some of your subordinates could take a job, because once you've done a proper job, you can let somebody upend you. Norton has refused to be the people's people. He doesn't want to sit and talk to people. He doesn't take suggestion. He doesn't go out and try to be honest with the people and say, listen, I screwed up in this area or that area. When you're talking about Norton's election, I knew about it. And
Yes,
we could
yes,
all say
yes.
we could all say what it is.
I'll let you continue, Jar. Hold that point, but remember what you're saying. Jason Benjamin, he was right. You could imagine if Norton had that list. You could imagine if Norton had that list, Jason Benjamin, what would have happened to that
But not
party? But hold on, Jar, hold
not
on. I was just responding to a comment from
yes.
a
I would
respectable
respond
guy,
to
Jason.
I would respond to Jason there. Norton could not and cannot have that list from Granger. It is not that's how
Well,
it works.
welcome, Leon,
If
sir. Welcome.
if Granger wants to give up the list, you know who becomes the leader of the list? Norman?
Yeah, go ahead.
If Granger decides tomorrow he doesn't want to be the leader of the list, you know who becomes the leader?
Kemraj Ramjatan. Kemraj Ramjatan.
So Norton cannot, and that is what you see, these people are not reading and understanding. He cannot be the leader of the list. Now, who do you want to have the leader of the list? Granger or Kemraj? Pick your choice. Granger would never stop Norton from doing a replacement. Never. If Norton goes to Granger now and said, I want to recall 10 MPs, he's not going to ask him why. He's going to say, give me the names and I'll write the letter. Because he is now the leader. So all this thing about the leader list and all those are just waste conversation. What the people who are fighting for Norton to remain as the leader, they should get in contact with Norton and say, listen, man, why aren't you approaching the people on the streets? Why aren't you going into PPP strongholds? Why are you not taking your social life a little bit more seriously?
Jar,
Because
Jar,
you're the third most powerful person
Jar,
in
hold
Guyana
on. Jar,
politically
hold
right
on.
now.
And you're right, you're right. Let me say something. Let me make this clear. Let me make it. You see what maturity is? You know how much I cost Leon Sal stinking for things he's done? You know how much time I expose Leon Sal. You know Leon Sal is I got a history from since the Rodney time and Burnham time as a journalist. You know, I cuss Leon Sal stinking, and Leon Sal still reach out to me and talk to me. We put the one side
That is
on a
maturity.
principle. Hold on, let me say this. Let me make this point. Let me say this to you. When I was struggling for Norton to become leader of the party, I was starting from nowhere. It was an uphill task because now people are saying behind the scene and everything then, that look, this is the person you're trying to fight for. Let us educate you. Let us tell you what's up. You understand? Let me tell you, if I were to reveal the things that I rejected because my intention was to ensure that Norton gets there, because Norton had a history of activism. And since no one in the party, in the leadership, including Armand and Granger and them, weren't ready to confront the wickedness of the PPP, I said, by all means necessary, by any means necessary, Norton must be given that chance. You understand what I'm saying? I ignored the inequality, the inefficiencies, his shortcomings that were brought to me, things that were said to me about his character, because I felt that sometimes circumstances cause people to behave in a way. You understand? If there's no purpose, if the party sideline you, if I kick you out, if everybody sideline you, right? You're going to end up drinking, you give up because you got quality, you got class, you got political ambition. If you get into that niche, then those things are no longer relevant because of the circumstances. People behave in a certain way. If I'm hungry, and he decent, but he's so hungry, he's seen dark, and a man left a plate of food on the table and walked to the toilet, that man would pick up that food and run away with it. The circumstances caused him to do that. But if that man get $1,000,000 tomorrow, he would go and look for the man and give him 10,000. Say, you don't know why I give you this 10,000. But I eat the food where you go. I want us to talk down to earth today. Norton, when those leaders Mark Benshop was one of them that was dead set against Norton going there. We had a big fight. Lincoln Lewis was dead set about Norton going there. They knew him. They dealt with him personally. There was a fight, and we triumphed. You understand? We triumphed. Norton turned against people in that party that helped me to help him. I want you to understand something. Some of the people who were on Norton's side that gave me information to help him to get passed through the gate, he turned on them. And it's very ironic because one of them, he said, that's drunk and fall down all over the place.
Wow.
And that person, I'm not going to call any name, cut tracks for Norton to get there. You understand the ingratitude? Let me tell you something before I let you guys speak. Talking about quality and caliber and character. My first encounter with Nigel London wasn't a pleasant encounter. Let me explain something to you. I made a post about a white apostle that came down to Guyana as a guest of Nigel. And I saw him in a slipper. I want to show you what is maturity, what is leadership. Now, I looked at it and I said, like, we have a culture in Guyana that when people go to church or they go wherever, they dress a certain way. We respect that order. Hear me out. I wasn't looking at Nigel or anything about where wasn't an attack on Nigel. I said, look at this man in this congregation with a slipper, dressed like, mash up. You have no respect as a white man for how we deal with. You know what Nigel did? Nigel came out and Nigel said, I have to defend this man. One, because he's a guest of mine. And Nigel rise up against me. He rose up against me. And he confronted me. It turned out that the man had an injury on his foot. This is why the man wore the rubber slipper. Now Nigel could have said, I don't want nothing to do with Norman Brown no more. You this my guest, you this, and you had an exchange and whatever. But during the exchange, the brother is such a leader, he was seeing my spirit, and I was seeing his spirit. Hear me out. I didn't do for Nigel London, I've never done what I've done for Aubrey Norton. That first thing he went out and tell people is that I didn't have a party card. You didn't know I didn't have a party card when I was fighting your struggle. You see the hypocrisy? He has to go. Not because of me. It doesn't matter about me. It matters about his attitude to authority. If you become president, what are you going to do, people? Mm-hmm. So hold on. Nigel was speaking out. And Nigel was so powerful that all the media in Guyana wanted to block him, wanted to go against him. They tried to cut him off. And I said, that's my brother. His position is from a religious position that he's condemning certain things. But his heart is in the right place, and what he believes in is liberation, is genuine. And so I said, I will bring him on my platform. Now remember, once you go on a platform that people follow that is seen as legitimate, they're going to be watching now and saying, well, if he go on Norman Brown, well, we can't really no more. But I invited brother at his worst time when they were shutting him down. I said, brother, I didn't agree with the way you done things. And we had disagreements. That brother stands up for me behind my back. He's so objective that you can't come and tell him Norman is this or JR is this or YOSHEV is this and try to. He doesn't work like that. He analyzes stuff. That's a leader. Simone Brooms. A man tell me every time Norton sees a little child sweeping a yard with a broom, he's walk over the road. I mean, you know why Frank can broom so much. But I'm going to say this to you. That woman is an extraordinary person. There is nobody in Guyana at the moment as a leader that has been a minister, that has their own business, that is wealthy, that has the connection to the grassroots and the suffering masses in Guyana than Simone Brooms. And she's not doing it for political. It's natural. When she goes and sits amongst the ordinary, it is natural. You talking about leadership that will bring the PPP down? Congress must be in December. And let me tell you, Roysdale Ford, one of the most brilliant minds in this country. And I said publicly, and I'm saying it now, whoever goes to that Congress and everybody in the party, once they have a group that nominate them, can run for the leadership of the party. Understand that. And I said, I may have my choice, and I have my choice before the Congress. But with the exception of Aubrey Norton, if Roysdale Ford wins, he will have my backing, and I will work assiduously for us to bring the PPP down. Because that's my job. That's what I want. All the fighting in this party and this what we're doing, the greater purpose is to bring the PPP down, so we have to strengthen the party. Hold on a minute.
Yep.
If Amanza Walton wins the leadership, she has my support. I may want Simone Brooms to win the leadership. If she wins the leadership, it goes without saying, because I already have a prejudicial look when it comes to I already supporting her. It's a biased look, outlook. Because I believe that she is the one at the moment. But Roysdale is bright. Roysdale is grounded. What I am saying today, that though Simone Brooms may be my choice, the democracy, the democratic principles of the party must be allowed to work. So you have to allow Congress to happen. And whoever wins it, that is the person we are going to fight and work with. If Norton wins it in December, he doesn't have my support. I'm not a hypocrite, but I will respect that he's the leader. I will not have nothing to do with it. I'll walk away. I will continue highlighting other things outside of the PNC. But I will respect that he has won. I said all of this tonight, not to you only, because I know you understand, JR and YOSHEV. But I'm speaking to my brothers and sisters out there that are cursing me. And I'm saying to them that when I rose up against Joseph Armon and that executive, to see them fall, there were threats to my life on social media in comments. You understand what I'm saying to you? Now today, the same Norton, who didn't say anything about how it was done, right? There's a woman named Dawn Keynes. I'm going to call her name. I grew up knowing her. Very beautiful black sister from Linden. But she's bright. She's politically astute. She called me and she said, Norman, no one in the party will ever trust you because of what you've done to Basil Williams, your friend. Who did I do it for, JR?
Your brother Norton.
Who did I do it for, YOSHEV?
In Norton.
Don Kane said to me, no one in the party will ever trust you because of what you done. I was so desperate to find a leader that would grab Jagdeo by his throat and bury his head in the mud and say to the PPP, enough is enough. By
Is
any
enough.
means necessary, this country will be grounded to halt if the injustices do not cease. That is why I done it. That is why I done it. If that was a price I had to pay to throw Basil under a bus, to see the liberation of my people, I would do it. Let me just finish so you guys can talk. We got a few more minutes and so on. But let me say something. In a revolution, there are casualties. The activists, not the MPs and the party members. The activists like Mark Bishop, Kadaki Ambas, and myself, you name them, journalists who are objective, Adam Harris, all of these people, Glenn Lall and all these people. Those are the people that cause the coalition to get back in power after 23 years. It was not the political firmament that laid the groundwork. The advent of social media and our activism is what connected to the people. They turned their backs on every single one of us and then shut the doors on our people when they got into power. When the Indians and the people that cuss and say that they raise MP salary and raise this and do what, there wasn't a problem. I remember Kemraj Ramachan is my friend, and I wanted that to be on record here. He's my friend. And let me tell you something. When I wrote and said that what Kemraj was doing when he was minister, instead of having a curfew that was pressuring young DJs and poor people and black people that hustle sell a little food and whatever, why don't you spend money to pay security to be at those venues? Invest some more so that those people could be free up and there's no violence and there's nothing because you've invested. We do it in the UK and everywhere else. They got vexed with me. I could tell you which ministers were talking to me in the coalition on a friendly basis and call my phone, and Basil Williams was one of them. You understand? You couldn't get to Armon or anybody. They shut the door. The point I'm making, I'm speaking to my viewers here. And we got 20 minutes before we wrap up. But I want to say to you that I am not angry with what you're saying. When black people war publicly, the enemies rejoice. In this instance, Jagdeo knows that he cannot rejoice. Jagdeo is worried because he wants Norton to stay there. He wants Norton to stay there. He's worried. So they'll get their people to pretend that Norton is right to be there. But we know Norton has to go. And therefore, it's fear of calling Congress in December is for that reason. He's afraid. You see, when you are afraid, you're not a real leader. When Norton, when I was fighting for him to become leader, this is the point I wanted to make earlier, and then I'm done. When I was fighting for him to become leader, someone hopped there next to him in the party that knew him all the time, from years, from Burnham time. The person called me, the person said, Mr. Brown, Norton cannot be a good leader that you are looking for within the paradigm and the circumstances we are faced, because you're looking for a wartime leader. Churchill was a wartime leader. When the war was over, they got rid of him. You understand? But you need a wartime leader. Norton agreed to be that wartime leader. But the person called me because that is what I was looking for, and he agreed to that. The person said, Norman, Mr. Brown, Mr. Norton is afraid of police and lockup. I know that for a fact
Wow.
because I've seen him run from protests. He is afraid of put. I swear on my life, I'm not making it up. You got to understand, when you're fighting for a horse, there are people who will call you and tell you things. The person said he will not do that. He does not like confrontation. But I said Norton back during those days was the man who everybody thought was a rebel and a revolutionary. The person told me that, and they were I. They said I was standing right there. When Quindon Bacchus protests happened, when they killed Quindon Bacchus, and the protests went on, and the police that tackled Norton, I was told that Norton said he ain't been at the protest. I want my viewers to understand the struggle. He said he ain't been at the protest. You know, was it to deny the same people you're saying if they go out, you're going to come and back them? You remember you talk about leading from in front and leading from behind? Norton doesn't want to lead from anywhere. He wants to drink rum, get drunk, and play Lord Ma'a.
Wow.
That you're so drunk you forget there is an executive committee. That you have to talk to before you could make a public statement on a reputable news medium like News Source. When you're drunk, you just make decisions. When you ever get drunk and you go to the toilet and your own friend going in the toilet asks you what, and you look at you in the face and don't even recognize you. You come with your friend and you're gone. You're so drunk, you're gone home on your own. You pass your neighbor house, gone in. You pass your house, gone in your neighbor yard. Piss yourself. And all of that. I am talking today as a recognized activist, and this program is exceptional because we got YOSHEV here and we got JR. So it's not what you think about the intellectual thing. This is a struggle. You got Simone Brooms standing up in every protest, not afraid. Not afraid. Watch this.
And the person that the allegation is leveled against is one with in authority. It's a minister of government who is taking the state resources to groom young girls, to lure them from different communities and regions into Georgetown, into a government compound, a gated area. So they're at his mercies in Chilabar. It's not even a place you could just run out, like, you understand what I mean to say? And so I think that persons miss that. Also, in the statement from the young lady that we have seen, where she was calling, she said, listen, I don't want to die, Mr. President. You got to hear my voice and do something. Irfan Ali of himself, you know, a young man, just getting office as president is shameful. Irfan don't have a heart for women. And based on what I'm seeing here, there's a whole anti-women, some kind of organization that they call themselves sitting in office. I think it is shameful. And I mean, if I had any respect for Irfan, I've lost all. Not a drop for Irfan and his entire cabinet. You understand? Because nowhere, I'm saying it again, in the world, even, well, we know Darmlaling and no shame. And Darmlaling and no pride. If anybody with pride and dignity, such allegations, come on. But at least one would expect that the president who gives him that instrument would have called that instrument, take it from Mandela and say, listen, said Darmlal, you're not fit for office, and take that instrument from me. I'm disappointed. Sherrod, if the people out here, 1 week, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, I'll be right here. I'll be right here. I encourage persons. This is a time.
If the people are out there 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 months, 4 months, I'm there with them. This is a former minister. You see the power of a woman. The black woman feels the pain of every race because she's the mother of every race. You understand what I'm saying to you? When you see Nigel London speaks, it's the same power. You don't tell me nothing about Norton. He was tried, tested, and never delivered. And I am telling you that I don't care if any of you walk away from me. Stop coming to my page. I have to do what I've got to do. Because when my mother and father held me down and gave me castor oil, I spluttered and kicked and was angry at them. In the moment, I thought they hated me. They wanted to kill me. Castor oil. And because of that castor oil, not even the COVID vaccine can hurt us. The point I'm making before I close and allow my brothers to speak. Sometimes you feel as if the people that's supposed to care hate you. And that is what my viewers are getting. It's castor oil. I'm giving you something that you can't digest. The taste is so horrible. But when it goes down there, it is curing you and it's making you healthier. YOSHEV, JR, go ahead. Then we wrap up.
Is this the closing?
No, just talk, and then when you're ready to give your closing. Yeah.
What a lot of persons might miss with what you're doing right now, and allowing myself and JR to express same sentiments, is that open rebuke is better than secret love. That is principle. That is rooted in Yahweh's word. That is principle. Going back again to the other principle. Take the plank out of your eyes before you could do it to your neighbor. We like to bash the PPP. That is not wrong. Deal with them because you have to expose wickedness. But take the plank out of our own eyes first. Or can you want to correct somebody else since you are walking in crookedness or crooked ways? Look at what Niger is getting right now. Look at what Niger is getting. They were getting 80 euro cents for 1 kg of uranium. Now they're getting 200 euro for the same kg of uranium. Same kg of uranium. If they didn't stand up and put the puppet government out of place, where would they be now? Back to our ancestors, 1823 revolution. 9 to 12,000 enslaved Africans or black people, because it was mixed people that came from Africa there. Had a revolution. Over 200 of them necks were chopped off and placed on stick along the East Coast as a display to let the rest know you ought not to do this anymore. But because of that revolution, we can walk here free today. That same revolution, the biggest revolution ever take place in all of time when it comes to slavery. We as a people got to change the way we think. We have to realize that we deserve more. Not the pittance that they're trying to hand on to us. You're telling me Ali could get the big fancy house we get and doing all them things we doing, but we can't get fancy house. Jack Dio could get big fancy house we get and doing all the things that he doing, we can't get fancy house. That makes sense? That make no sense. Well, one set of people enjoying the sweet, the rest struggling. They make sense. But yet, when somebody like myself, you and you guys here, and Apostle, Nigel and the rest, speak out against these things, they have a problem. Why would you have a problem? I would usually tell people, man, and this is straight up. If you got a problem and a righteous voice is speaking to you, therefore you're wicked. And you got to check yourself. You can't expect to be corrected as a child. Like you would have said with the Castorel story. Man, I was a botheration chap, I telling you. My mother used to clap some lashing me. She will beat me now. And I got to do the same thing that she
Same
just
thing.
before now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now let me tell you, if the lady didn't clap me some lashing me, I would have been dead or in jail right now.
Yes.
For what? For stupidity. You understand? So when some people get in now like, hey, you must hug them up because we are friends. Yo, man, I could love you, but I have to discipline you if you're doing foolishness. Because my love extends to see you prosper.
Perfect.
And hear me out carefully when I talk about this here also too. If by some miracle, Norton pull himself up together, take the streets and lead the people, he will have my support. But he got to do it. And he got to be consistent at it. Demand with the people them got to get. And the pocket comes
The more Franken lock up, that's not gonna happen. JR, go ahead, and then we'll have after that. We'll have our closing remarks and yeah.
Look, Norman.
When you Franken lock up, YOSHEV, when you Franken lock up, you can Jagdio don't ramp for lock you up. Airfund don't ramp. They don't control the police force. They don't put we name there. You think Norton and know that? They'll send the police for lock you up. Not taking lock up. You don't got rum in the lock up. You know, is it for dry out? You understand? Sorry, JR, go ahead. Tonight, I'm speaking my mind. This is a ragamuffin show tonight.
You know, Norman.
Yes, JR.
One of the things that jumped out at me back in early 2022 was that same Niger London opportunity. I had expected the new leader of the PNC would have approached Nigel, a Jaipal Sharma, a Simona Brooms. But when people hold malice and you're in the public leadership, it's definitely not the right person there. We may have our differences, but like you said at the top of the show, the big picture is the betterment of Guyana. And Norton has clearly shown that his malice trumped the will of the people and the needs of the people. And you can't have that. I have, over the years, had enemies that have sprung up out of foolishness. But when we had to work for a common cause, that went out the door. Because I am not about a single person. I'm worried about the cause that I want to believe in. We didn't see that with the PNC in this last 2 years. A lot of people are talking about laundry. I don't know how they come up with this foolish idea now that you can't air your laundry outside. Not everybody get dryer at home. Now, if you don't put him on the spot, you're not going to get changes. He's going to end up creating a cyst and destroy the party more. No leader in the PNC has destroyed the PNC more than R.B. Norton has. And all be just because he does not want to be inclusive. A simple thing. Listen to people, talk, share your views, listen to their views, and come up with an amicable understanding and agreement. That, if you can't do that for your own people, you're not ready for general leadership. So a lot of people could harp and make irate comments, and that shows the deterioration of our moral standing and also our intellectual ability to understand what is necessary. So I've been looking at all these comments, and it surprised me that some of the people I thought had some intelligence to make these comments without understanding. They are running their political knowledge or their participation based upon hearsay from sources that are not credible sources. When you hear somebody who is in the mix and in the mud, they're saying something, there must be a reason why they're telling you. Nobody has ever seen me retract a post on social media yet. And that's their reason for that. I don't post things that I don't have clarity on. If we continue to sit back and allow the opposition to be weakened daily, what are we going to see as a nation when 10% of the people are sucking out all the juice out of this country, and 90%, regardless if you support the PPP or not, will be suffering or be at the behest of to be abused?
Public
What do
bashing,
you?
public bashing,
But
Colin, may lead to that professional help. Thank you. Go ahead. Sorry, JR.
you know, and you see these things that are talking nonsense. I grew up in a home where both my mother and my father was ridiculed by Kuli and Black because they were interracial, and I grew up as a rebel child, and I took no prisoners. I don't give a damn about anybody but my two parents. So all these negative comments that you see running on the screen, they could tell me
Well,
shit on the screen. They can't talk to my
you're gonna be
face.
back on this program as a co-host. You can't
Yeah,
cause the
but
people.
I know I can say I watch them, and I
You see, you Sheva
you know what
cussing
my
them. You're just speaking.
you
JR's
know what I
cuss.
see now. You know what I see now. I'm
Yes,
so
JR.
fortunate that to have an understanding, right? Norton come in there on the back door, like you said earlier. Did he take that opportunity to be a good leader, to improve, to change, to grow the party, to make the party stronger than the predecessors? No. What he did, he destroyed the party. I remember one time someone asked him to put a library in Congress Place. You know what he tell the people? Go and see if you can put them by the women's organization group. A library would have brought in younger minds to get books. And at the same time, we could use that opportunity to enlighten them about the PNC, what it stands for, and increase our membership across the board. But no, we can't have that. That is not sip and line business.
Did you see the comment
So
by
that
Hillary? Did you see the comment by Hillary Harris?
you see, Mark, Norman, this is
Go
the
ahead.
jackassism or the donkeyism that you're dealing with. Mark Benshop could never kick me off his show. He cannot stop me from going on that show. I do not want to be on Mark's show. I've had 4 years of being on Benshop. We have run our courses together. We have decided to go in two different directions.
Yes, yes.
But
Respectfully,
to tell you,
respectfully.
you see, that's the thing. Mark, don't call my name on his show. I don't go on Mark's show.
Respectfully,
But the
respectfully. Yeah.
ignorance with adult people, these are the people that Barrett Jagdi would love. They're ignorant, they're
Yeah,
stupid, they
yeah.
don't understand that I am my own man. I don't need Benshop, Benshop don't need me.
You've made the point. Go
I
ahead.
don't need to be on
Continue.
television.
You've made the point, and you've answered
Good.
that question.
What I'm saying,
And that's a very respectful
Norton,
way. Go ahead.
Norton did not use the opportunity to build the PNC, to be inclusive of other ethnicities. The party should not be labeled as a black party. Barrett Jagdeo was using the state resources to make PPP a multifaceted party. Why couldn't we have done that? We don't need to buy people. Be honest, put our plan out there, what we have for the people. And once you have a leader who is dealing with the people on the ground, you will have people. There are so many people who wants to talk to these people, but they're not. They're
Yes.
calling me. I'm not an
Um,
elected person. They have people who are fighting me to be on the picket line. I'm not in an elected position. I live out in the boonies. Why am
Jer,
I running out the tongue?
Jer, we have 6 minutes before you wrap up. That's the 2 hour mark.
Anyway, I
No,
will
hold
give you
on,
my
hold on. No, no, no. You're gonna give your closing remarks. I'm not cutting you off. You'll have 2 minutes to give, and also YOSHEV will have 2 minutes to give his closing remarks. I'm not gonna do that, JR. So let me make this point quickly with my 2 minutes closing remarks. I want to say this to my viewers, and all who cuss, I would not cuss you back. I love you. I respect you. I know you're coming from a good place, that you want to see black people united. You want to see our leaders succeed, and you don't want dirty linen to be washed in public. But there are circumstances in which we have to address things that cannot be addressed in-house effectively. That we, the members and the supporters, when the house has a problem and the fire is inside, we have to take the buckets of water to those that fire and to rescue those in that building and that organization. That is a fact of life. I also want to say that the important thing is democracy in the party. Mr. Norton benefited from that democracy, and he called for Congress in December when the 2 years, Harmon's 2 years was up. Even though it was the COVID pandemic, he said, let democracy prevail, and, things are better now. And he's saying 8 months more he wants to be leader of the party when Congress is scheduled for is set for December. Not set, but it's scheduled to be there that time. And we are saying here that Congress must be held on time. It's a biennial Congress. It's not a triennial Congress and all of that. It's a biennial Congress. Is excuse about money and school and all these other frivolous things will not cut it. He must face the elections in the party. If he triumphs, I have nothing to say to him, about him. I would not bash him. I am done with PNCR politics until elections are after. And that is my point. I want to say to all of you that follow this program, the 100 and something of you here today, or how much of you, it's not about the numbers at the moment. I know that my program is sabotage in terms of reaching people when I'm on a live, but that's fine. I want to say to you that I have no ill feelings against you. This is a struggle, and we will fight each other, we will cuss each other, we will do whatever. But all of us wish to see that end result, the PPP being destroyed. And if Norton, in the PPP's book, wants him to remain there, that's an indication that the PPP has crushed him already. You understand? The PPP has crushed him. There's no leader that can say to me, or no white people, or no international community can say to me, keep quiet, don't do nothing. When elections come, we're going to make sure we have regime change. 20 young people being slaughtered by the government's police. Injustices are happening, and I'm the leader, and I'm waiting to get power. Get power while the people to whom I represent are being slaughtered. Norton can't come to me with them nonsense. You understand? You can't come to me because Apostle Nigel London or Simona Brooms or Ricedale Ford or Manzo Walton, I don't think would be so lethargic in any leadership. Or your closing remarks, and I mean 2 minutes because we're wrapping up. Your closing remarks, YOSHEV, 2 minutes, and your closing remarks, JR, 2 minutes.
Okay. My is, and it will always remain, you can never go to your oppressor for liberation. Our ancestors did not go to the oppressors back then for liberation. No, they didn't. Understand that. They took to the streets and revolted. That is how we can walk in some form of liberty. Understand that. The indentured servants were whipped also, and when in the open wounds, salt was packed in, and they revolted. That's how come the Guyana was martyrs, because they had things that were going on that was inhumane. Understand that. We in Guyana have to fight our battles right here. We don't want Jagdio, who is the puppet, Jagdio and Ali, the entire PPP, who is the puppet for the white man down here. And they can't refute it because Trotman signed to the contract, and at least Jack signed through the contract without no ring fencing. So who you really pleasing? Who run to the court to stop the put a stay order on Exxon when they had to pay security? PPP did that. Don't forget these things. Don't forget these things. And if Norton does not have the chutzpah, the guts, gall, the testicle or testicular fortitude to go and stand up and say no more, he don't deserve to be the opposition leader. No, does not deserve to be the opposition leader.
He does not deserve
no
to be
way,
the
no
opposition
way,
leader.
no way. You understand? Because at the end of the day, that 50% that I mentioned will remain in the same condition. And we don't want that anymore. We are saying enough is enough. People are going to work and the boss man them abusing them and they can't complain to nobody. What nonsense is that? Police not submitting matters to court and the magistrate is not commanding them or compelling them to bring their evidence to court, but case getting thrown to court. What nonsense is that? Doctors doing whatever they feel like, and nurses doing whatever they feel like, and when you complain to the relevant authority, no justification or no justice is served to you. What nonsense is that? Let me tell you something. I was very angry at David Granger what he did when he was president, allowing the homosexuals to palazzo over the street. You understand? But one thing I can tell you under his administration, law and rule was
law and order, yes, and peace and so on. Yeah, you can't take that back from Granger.
You can't take that away from Granger.
You can't.
You understand? You gotta give everybody the hunks.
Yeah, you can't.
And like Apostle always say, we don't look at no government, we look at good governance. Good governance. If the PPP, by some miracle, which I feel there would never be, no, they can't happen, switch and start doing what it's supposed to do by every Guyanese, they will have the support. But we know that that's impossible for that to happen.
Thank you very much, YOSHEV.
You
Thank you very much for the 2 minutes there. JR, your closing remarks, 2 minutes.
Norman, first and foremost, we have to make hard choices as a party. When I first put out the Simona Brooms for leadership, I got over 100 and something phone calls that day. Boy, what are you doing? What you to see that we don't see? I look at people who have love for other people, regardless of ethnicity or financial standing. She has shown it. Sharma Solomon, Jaipal Sharma, those are people that needs to be in the play. They are the people who are going to bring different people to the party. We can't hold on to people who have been dead weight to the party. We can't have longevity membership and give them leadership expecting that they will turn the party around. No. The party, Mr. Granger was a good asset. Unfortunately, he was run out. He was overthrown by a foreign entity and some conniving Guyanese. We need to go back. We need to get the PPP where Burnham, if you notice, Burnham had an integration in the party. He didn't care if you're a sympathizer with the PPP. As long as you were serving the people to the best that the country can offer, he would bring you in. Burnham was not a racist. A lot of people misconstrue his way. A lot of the PPP propaganda blame Burnham as racist. Burnham was not. He gave us the highest education that we had in this country's history. He gave us the best healthcare system, and it's free. He gave us roads and all the opportunities with limited resources. That in itself could have given Norton a template to rebuild the PNC. Yes, we may be short of finance and what has happened to it, what it caused it, but for you to get finance into a party, you have to return to the roots. Bring the groups together, the people will start to self-help themselves and bring it up. But no, we make these promises and we get too big for our britches. A lot of people who support Norton, I have made a 2-year analyzation, and I think the common denominator is arrogance and ignorance. Because when you discredit Norton for his inability and his inactivity that was supposed to be carried out within a certain time frame, you find them flaring up. But they are not honest enough to understand that the black people mostly was being hurt by improper leadership. And when you have an opposition leader that does not have resistance towards the ruling party, who
30
we know
seconds,
what they're
JR.
doing,
30 seconds. Go ahead.
you are going to find that the country suffers more. I have seen where East Indian people have reached me on the street in Eastern neighborhood and asked me, why do we have an opposition leader that does not open his or her mouth? Look what Bart is doing to the country. If you don't have a proper opposition, you're dead. So those people who want to hear me, I appreciate the hatred because I don't come and no live for friendship. I get my friend, me. That's it.
JR, you're a radical.
Good night,
Thank you
friend.
very much for
No,
being here, voice. And we close on this note. A comment, the last comment here on our thread from Maple Hetty Mar Joseph. You all have the right to speak because a closed mouth is a closed destiny. Thank you very much,
she is
Yoshev.
100%.
Thank you very much, JR. I hope to get Annette
Thank you for having
Ferguson
me.
here on Sunday evening. JR, I hope you can come back to co-host. Thank you guys once again, Yoshev. Introduced to the world. Continue the great work you're doing, the passionate work
Thank
you're
you. Thank you for
doing.
having me.
And as I have said, the struggle continues. Good name or bad name, the struggle continues. Have a good night,
Yep.
and thank you to my viewers, those who are against and those who are for. Leon Saul, respect, respect. Colin
Thanks,
Barnwell,
everyone.
Jason Benjamin, and all of you that made very salient points in your comments. Plenty
Thank you,
respect,
guys.
and respect to all of you who were on the thread and those who are watching from around the world. Thank you very much. Have a
All
great
right.
evening.